Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here. We're doing a new series called How to Play. It was a request by one of our viewers, and they specifically requested how to play Crystrons. Now, I don't know why, because nobody plays this deck and it's not very fun, but I brought in someone that's very good at the deck and enjoys it and swears up and down that it's the best deck in the game, and that's Negative1. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, I'm just giving you a hard time about the deck, but you've been swearing for a long time. This is the best deck in the game, and why? Why is that?
Uh, Crystrons are really good because they're one, very consistent, and two, very strong defensively.
Okay. So we have an example of a deck up on the screen. Now, this is the one that you played?
This isn't what I played. This is just a sample build.
Okay, a sample
A very
build.
similar version of the deck was played in KC Cup and finished, I believe, fifth place global. Very similar. Uh, what you may see as some key points are that it's running Mythic Depths.
Hmm.
So it's utilizing Sea Stealth Attack and Citadel Whale. And this gives it another dimension to the deck and it boosts the power and defense.
Now, this is a deck, you played this deck in the KC Cup too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And how did it do for you?
This was my primary climbing deck. When I started off, I didn't start with it. I was running something different, but then I thought about what I was playing against, and I decided that Crystrons would be the best choice, and that really jumped me a lot of points. Got me
Okay.
like 50 or 60,000, something in that range.
But Negative1! Negative1! You have to play quick decks in the KC Cup if you're going to climb, not slow decks like Crystrons.
Yeah, a lot of people, that's a common belief. And for the most part, it's true that you want a deck that can play faster as opposed to a deck that takes more time. You have to think about what you're doing a lot of the time. You have to really plan ahead. But this past KC Cup was somewhat chaotic. There were a lot of OTK decks, a lot of very fast strategies. So, in order to combat that, it's much better to have a reliable deck that, even though it may be slower, because it wins more reliably and more consistently, you're better off.
Okay. Well, we'll have to take your word on it. So why don't you explain the deck a little bit for us here, and we'll go over all the important key pieces of it.
So, to start off, the most important part of Crystrons are your starters.
Okay.
And really, your primary starters are what we consider ways that you can get to Crystron Sulfefnir. So
Okay.
uh, these are Scrap Recycler, Gen X Undying, and Sulfefnir itself, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
That's Smiger. There we
what
go.
they
So,
do,
okay.
yeah, is they either put Sulfefnir into the grave or they just activate or put it into play so that you can activate the effect. So what Sulfefnir says is that you can discard any Crystron card except itself,
Hmm.
so that you can special summon it onto the field, and then you destroy one card on your side of the field. And then after it is destroyed, it has the effect of you can special summon any Crystron monster from your deck
Okay.
in defense
So
position.
you can search a lot. That's a big thing, right? You can float and search.
Yeah. So what makes it good, the deck so strong is that it really is the searching power is just unmatched. So any Crystron card lets you activate Sulfefnir's effect, and then Sulfefnir summons any Crystron card from the deck.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
you can discard like a less useful Crystron card to put out, say, a Thistfern or a Smiger, which will let you search for another Crystron card on your following turn.
Okay. And then that way you can set yourself up for whatever play you need to make during your opponent's turn.
Correct.
Okay. So, do you end up using pretty much all the different Crystrons throughout the battle?
You use some more than others, depends on matchup.
Mm-hmm.
But game, you'll usually be using Crystron Citry. So what you want to be doing on your turn one is usually using Solfefnir to summon either Thistvern or Smyger, and then you destroy another card on your side of the field to summon
Okay.
Citry. And so what your tuners do is that on your opponent's main or battle phase, you're able to special summon another monster and then synchro summon with that card.
Okay.
So Citry lets you synchro summon with a monster in your graveyard. So what you'll often do is you will summon, say, a Smyger, and then you'll have a Scrap Recycler and a Smyger next to each other. And then the Smyger will destroy the Scrap Recycler to summon Citry from the deck.
Okay.
And then on your opponent's turn, they will attack the Citry, and then your Citry will activate Synchro Summon, and then you use the Scrap Recycler to summon a Metrix on their turn.
Okay, so is there, if you're playing against us, is there any way to get around that? I mean, they get to do that synchro summon no matter what, right? Is there any way to play around that besides Floodgate or Canadia or something like that?
Ways to play around it, but it's usually you have to know how the interactions are going to go.
Okay.
But say if you're running No Mortal Can Resist, you can activate cards in the draw phase or standby phase so that they won't be able to respond in the main phase.
Mm-hmm.
So if you activate Cosmic Cyclone in draw phase by toggling on, then when it comes to the main phase, you will be able to activate No Mortal Can Resist, and then they won't be able to activate the Citry effect.
So you need some hope and a prayer is what you're telling me. So if I'm just playing my Luna Lights, I'm playing Grit, it's not going so well.
Yeah. So a lot of decks.
Yeah. Okay.
There are a number of decks that just really don't have a response to Crystrons because they're very they aren't well equipped to deal with cards or decks that can activate, like, just interrupt them on their turn.
Okay.
So you see decks such as Heroes or Lunalights, they're very battle focused, and so when they go to battle and they just attack, Crystrons can summon a Metrix, and that like stops their
Yeah,
punch.
that ruins everything. It just ruins everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is going on? So you got Raigeki Break in there. Is that what does that do? I mean, I know what the card does, but how does it help the deck?
So Raigeki Break is in there because in a 30 card deck, well, I suppose, firstly, why are we running 30 cards? It's because the deck is consistent enough that we can run more cards.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's more cards, you're able to have a stronger grind game. So in longer games, you're able to outlast your opponent. So that's why we're running 30 cards. Why we're running Raigeki Break is because there's a number of cards that have effects that are valid in the hand or in the graveyard. And there are cards that even you want in the graveyard because they have value there.
Okay.
So you see cards like Crystron Thistvern, you can banish it from your graveyard to search any Crystron monster except itself. You can, if you send a Crystron Smyger, it can search Crystron Impact. If you send Citadel Whale or Crystron Solfefnir, they're both able to activate from the graveyard or the hand, so it doesn't matter if you discard them. It's
Okay.
essentially ways for you to get rid of problematic cards such as Necro Valley, for instance, or a really big boss monster that you otherwise aren't able to swing over in the
Okay.
current state.
All right. So you end up using just about all of the Crystron cards, don't you? I'm looking through them here. Prayer Soidal. What is that one? Do you use that one?
Yeah, So the most important Crystron monsters are really, or the most important non-tuners are Fistvern and Smyger,
Okay.
and you also run one uh, of the Turtle and one of the Rosenix
Yep.
because they have uh, unique levels. Their effects don't really search anything. They just the Rosenix summons a token which you can't really tribute, which is okay for a body, but it's not the best. And then the Turtle summon a Crystron from hand, so it's not really gaining you advantage. However, there are times where you want to summon a level 4 or a level 2 just so you can go into a very specific synchro monster.
Okay. And what synchros are you using?
So in this build, I'm using two Ametrix, one Samurai Destroyer, one Powered Insectron, one White Aura Dolphin, and one Quarion Gandrex.
And I'm guessing each one has a very specific use, depending where you are in a battle, right? In a duel.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So this extra deck is for the most part standard, at least for C stealth attack builds. This is a very common extra deck.
Mm-hmm.
If you run Crystrons without C stealth attack, to replace the White Aura Dolphin with a Black Rose Dragon, just because it's much better at clearing the board and getting rid of back row threats.
All right. I think I have somewhat of a idea how to play this. Not at all. But we do have a replay that we're gonna watch here. A couple replays, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we take a second and check those out? All right, here we go. First replay. This is from the KC Cup, so this should be pretty good to watch here. And here's that crazy background that some people love, some people didn't. I think they were doing it to make you play more Duel Links. So you're going first here. You got Umi on the
Very
field. Oh, you're going second. Okay. Umi on the field.
Yeah.
All right. Pretty standard opening for Shiranui.
Yeah.
All right. So what happened there? You just discarded a card to bring out the Sulfefinir.
Yeah. So on your turn one, you're usually using Sulfefinir effect to put a non-tuner on board so that you can set up a defensive play on your opponent's turn.
Okay.
So in this instance, I discarded the turtle so that I could special summon Sulfefinir, pop itself, and then from the deck I summoned Fistvern. You could, in theory, summon a Smyger. However, I summoned Fistvern specifically because on my next turn, I will be able to banish Fistvern from the graveyard and activate, or I'll be able to activate its effect to banish itself and then search another card. So that's why I chose to summon Fistvern.
Okay.
The reason why I activated. Sorry?
Oh, and then you went into the whale here, right?
Yeah. So the reason why I went into the whale was just so that I could put the Fistvern in the graveyard and like set up C stealth attack because it's a very strong option and it's good against a lot of back row.
Okay.
So and the reason why I activated the turtle in graveyard was so that I could special summon Ryan from my hand. And so what Ryan does is it special summons monsters from your banish pile so that you can synchro summon.
Okay.
So the level 3 Ryan and the level 2 tuner, or the level 2 turtle, sorry, will summon the level 5 Ametrix, which is good defensively.
That was a lot of stuff there. I hope people are taking notes. Is this why nobody plays the deck right here?
It might be, yeah. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of things you have to keep track of, a lot of things you have to pay attention to, just so that you can set up your current turn and your follow-up turn. All of these are very important.
What you're doing right here, right? Looks like you're going into the Amatrix.
Yeah.
which puts his Sun Saga into defense because it was special summoned.
Yep.
And then what are you planning to do here? Are you gonna attack in, or are you just setting up another defensive play?
Well, I am setting up another. I'm trying to summon Whale again, just because Whale will get me my. And with C stealth attack, you're able to destroy without battling, or you're able to defend on your opponent's turn without synchro summoning.
So it looks like you got rid of the Amatrix there. Was that just to go into the Sam Destroyer?
Yeah, so the reason why I was willing to get rid of the Amatrix was because Sam Destroyer, it negates the effects of monsters it battles. So if it swings into the Sun Saga, then it will negate the effect to protect itself, meaning it can just kill it.
Okay, but
With
looks
one
like
attack.
you swung with the whale first here, right?
Yeah, that's because he activated Fiendish Chain, which negated the Sam Destroyer, so
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
able.
All right. C stealth attack coming out here. That's always a good one, right?
Yeah. On his attack, I activate C Stealth Attack, and then I'm able to boost over his monster. And then because I'm bigger than his monster, it forces him to use Sun Saga protection.
Okay. So you're getting him to get rid of his cards that he needs to use, if possible. All right. Just so from here, this is it's just a fight right now, right? You're not doing any fancy plays. You're both just swinging at each other.
So he activates Lancia. He's trying to stop me from banishing to protect C Stealth Attack. I kill his Skull Archfiend just so that I can just so that none of his monsters get protected against destruction effects. From here on, I don't have much in the terms of offensive cards, so I'm really setting up defense, and I'm considering deck out as a possible win condition,
Oh my god.
just because lower on cards and my monsters are able to float.
All right. Well,
So if he keeps,
we'll just
yeah,
speed this one up here a little bit. So you're just
yeah,
doing everything you can just to keep putting bodies on board. Is that just because you feel like there's no way for you to win otherwise?
that I can play aggressive. However, if I play aggressive, it could potentially play into like a wall of D or what have you. And he also just drew Cosmic Cyclone, so he's able to get rid of my third Sea Stealth attack.
Well, I mean,
You
look.
also see that I have another copy. So in this build, I am running a second and maybe a third copy. However, you're fine with one or just like just one whale and then your 3C stealth attack.
And look at this board. You have like one token on the field. What is that?
Yeah.
I mean, aren't you worried at this point? I mean, look at this.
I'm in fact I'm not, because I have
The dolphin.
Dolphin in
Oh,
its
jeez. Okay.
and so once you get Dolphin out, some decks that are very battle focused, they won't be able to break it because you have so many water monsters in graveyard that
Oh.
no matter how many times they attack, you're just gonna keep summoning it. They keep summoning it. They activate Ballista Squad to pop it. You summon it back. They swing in with 3 monsters. You summon it back.
That's just too funny.
So yeah,
So you played stall. You don't
games
want to admit it, but you played stall.
in this long game when he has a full back row, and I don't want to swing into a wall of D or into what have you. He might have a Fiendish Chain, and then he negates my monster. Whatever I do offensively might fail. However, he can't kill me. Therefore, I win because I'm.
All right, you tell yourself whatever you have to. You just played stall. You dirty stall player. All right, so it looks like a very similar opening here.
Yeah. So this game was a mirror match, or a Crystron mirror match. Um, so it's very key to note that in the Crystron mirror match, C Stealth Attack has the advantage. This is because for Crystrons to out a C Stealth Attack, they usually have to draw a tech card, or they have to go into a Black Rose. It's very difficult for them to like get rid of this setup,
Okay.
and because it's so difficult, you're often able to live with just a whale and a tuner on board, because your tuner is able to special summon, say, an Amatrix or a Powered Insectron, and then you're able to activate C Stealth Attack to protect itself.
Now, your opponent, he's got a level 2 tuner and a level 2 monster on the field. He's able to summon another monster out, right? At this point, if he wants to. Okay, because most of the time you already had yourself set up just to go into a 5 right away, it looked like.
So here he may not have a level 5. He might not have the Sulfafnir in graveyard, but he still has the Amatrix set up because he has the level 2 Citri and the level 3 Crystal Beast in graveyard.
Okay. So here you have to
So-
attack in. I mean, there was nothing else you could do, and that's what I was talking about earlier. It's like you have to attack in. He gets to do the thing, and now what? You get turned sideways, right? Yeah.
Do, however, it's not as detrimental as you may think, because we have the C Stealth Attack set up. Now, because we have the C Stealth Attack set up, even though we're going to defense this turn, even if they try to push on their turn, it doesn't really matter because we'll just destroy his in.
Okay, so the Samurai Destroy stopped the Citadel Whale effect from going off,
Yeah.
and the Sea Stealth attack.
Or, well, the Samurai Destroyer prevented the C Stealth
Okay.
destroying it. However, because of Umi, the whale was stronger than the
Okay.
Sam Destroyer.
There you go. So are you feeling pretty good about this match as you're playing it just because you have the Sea Stealth attack?
For sure.
I mean, he's Lancian you twice now.
Yeah. That it doesn't matter how many Lancias they or I guess it matters in a sense. However, because C Stealth Attack is so strong, you can just activate. You can chain C Stealth Attack to Lancia, and then you'll be set up. Or like
Okay.
you don't have to really worry about them really killing you. Their only out really is just anything else you're not afraid of.
Okay, so I'm guessing here, oh, Black Rose Dragon. This is gonna hurt, right? But you can see stealth attack.
Yeah.
Okay. There is
This is
5
another
link
way-
chain. Oh my god. What
the
is
reason why C Stealth Attack is so strong in the mirror match, because Black Rose is Crystron's primary out to back row. However, because C Stealth Attack is able to protect your monsters, it doesn't matter if they can protect their back row, because you're able to.
Oh, you banish your
It
monsters.
doesn't matter that they're able to
Okay.
nuke the board, because you're able to protect your back row and you're able to banish your monsters so that they're out of harm's way.
Right, so you can banish your monsters, and then that protects the spells and traps, right? Isn't that what C Stealth Attack does?
Correct.
Okay. So he nuked the board, and you got to keep your stuff. So you pretty much just to say thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
He pretty much got rid of all of his cards for us. It's pretty nice deal.
Okay. So is this also going to end in deck out?
to, I believe I could deck him out. However, I think he either scoops or I just kill him. One of
Okay.
the two happens.
Shadow imprisoning mirror. That doesn't really affect you, right?
Yeah, at this point where I'm pretty sure he realized that he can't win, so he's just revealing cards so that I know
Okay.
what's going on.
And where were you? Do you remember where you were on the during the climb? Is this like in the 50,000 range, or what was this?
It was pretty high up there, yeah. I don't remember the exact points, but it was indeed like this was a competitive game. This wasn't just like the first hour or two. Just some people are playing Cyberstein, whatever.
Down in the circus level, as it's called.
Well, I wasn't gonna say that, but yes.
Yes. Hey, I cleaned up down there, just so you know. I was killing it. See, this match is just too long. Who's got the patience for this? You got 8 cards, he's got 5, he's got 4. You guys started with 30 cards each. Look at this. This is another reason no one plays the deck. Who's got the time for this? My God. My God, Neg, what are you doing?
See, it didn't end in a deck out. You see?
Just close enough. What was your dual assessment on that? That's ridiculous. Oh my God. Well, you guys, I hope we answered a few questions with this. If not, I honestly, I don't know. Let me know if we need to do another one of these. This deck is definitely multi-layered. There's a lot to it. If you have any specific questions, just put them in the comments. We can always have Neg back and address them. So why don't you do that? So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Check the description below for links to all of our stuff. Thanks, Neg, for coming on. You know we love having you on here.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
All right. Make sure to check everything out, and we'll see you next time.